Live with Road to 50 Million on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Sometimes people call this Black Friday. That started, of course, with the idea that merchants got in the black on this day, and now it's turned into Black Week and Black Month. And I think the first advertisements I got for Black something or other as a sale were quite a bit before Halloween, so a month ago. But I don't want to talk about any of that today. It just happens to be that day. Today, I want to talk about being. And there's a Facebook group that I belong to called it's about the book of being entitled The Ultimate Coach Facebook group. And that group is all about being. And there's all kinds of ways to think about being. So let's start with some silly ones. Someone might say, oh, you're being facetious. Or someone might say, you're being silly. Or you're being mean. Or all kinds of things where the word being is an auxiliary verb to describe a characteristic, how you're behaving or how you're speaking. And that's an absolutely appropriate way of describing or using that word being. So before we dive into the being that I want to talk about right now, let's talk about the road to 50 million. This video, this series that I'm doing, the road to 50 million, has to do with my commitment. I'm committed this year from October 14th, a month ago, to October 14th of next year to help 50 million people. That's why the road to 50 million. Now, I started after last year. I reached, my goal last year was 10 million, and I believe I reached that. But that means this year's 5 times as big, 5 times as many people. What do I mean, and why would I do that? Well, my goal is to help you listening right now or watching to discover your divine gifts. So many people feel like I had a fabulous conversation with someone on Lunch Club just this morning. If you don't know what Lunch Club is, it's an artificial intelligence powered networking process. It's really cool. You ought to join it. Lunch Club. If you want to get an invitation, reach out to me, or you can just look it up. But anyway, I've been doing it about 2 years and met all kinds of incredible people. Today, there was an incredible guy I met. I think he lives in Albuquerque, according to his profile, but he's about helping women in Ghana who have been caught in the sex trade to get out of that and to get skills and then become virtual assistants. And he's got a good track record going. And I'm actually thinking, I talked to Joy, my wife, who you know about if you've watched many of this or read any of the books that I've written, about maybe we should use one because we have several virtual assistants that do different things, all the way from computer stuff to ClickFunnels to social media to podcasting. And he was talking about that sort of thing. And this isn't an advertisement for his business, although if you're interested, reach out to me. What was interesting was what he was doing. Like, this is his mission. He said, he's in all these businesses in his life, and he's an older fellow. He was my age or maybe even a little older. And this was his mission. He said he'd never been so excited or happy about something he was creating than this. So who is he being? Well, he's being the guy that helps. I think his goal was 1,000 or 10,000 women in Ghana. And I don't know why he picked Ghana, and I don't really care. He was a white guy like me, about my age, from Albuquerque. But his heart was lifted and blessed by being the person that created this. So he was not being silly. He was not being anything weird. He was being the guy who's creating this escape vehicle for women in that terrible situation. I loved it. I loved talking to him. I'm going to connect him with some people I know who might need some of the services, and we might, and he wants to connect me with someone else that he knows. So all kinds of stuff happened from that conversation. And how did that happen? Well, it happened because I belong to Lunch Club, and so does he. So I want to talk about this word being. We use it as an auxiliary verb to describe a way we're behaving. You're being silly. You're being mean. I said they're both those examples, but they're perfectly good ones. But there's more to it than that, because being, you can sit here or stand here. I'm sitting down, but I could stand here and just be. I'm being, and think I'm doing nothing, but it's not true. I'm sending out energy. You are, we all are right now. So I'm being inactive. I'm being very active. Right now, I'm being animated. Here's the thing I want to give you today. How you choose the being that you choose is what creates the world around you. And so in my PTAC, that personal truth and commitment document that I refer to a lot, I have a sentence, several sentences about my wife, Joy. One of them says, I love the grace and beauty that is joy with all my being. Now, what in the world did that mean? Well, I used to mean with all my being, my essence, my spirit and body. And what I realized is that there's a whole lot more to it than that. With all of the energetic and physical actions that I take, my being. And I realized that that interpretation of being is universal and applies to every single second. So from this second on, the way I describe this road to 50 million is I am being the guy that creates a road to 50 million. And the guy that creates a road to 50 million people like you to help you discover your gifts and serve with them and maybe make you business or maybe not. But the important thing is to discover them and serve with them. The important thing is to sing the song you came to sing. The important thing is to give into that yearning we all feel to love and serve each other. That's what's important. And so I'm being the guy that does these weird videos. I'm being the guy that creates a road to 50 million. I'm being the guy that said, I'm going to help 50 million. I'm also being the guy that wrote some books. I'm being the guy that's writing a book right now. I'm being a guy that practiced in the studio this afternoon to do some music, to sing some songs about this whole process. I'm being the guy who lives in flow. I'm being the guy who does a morning ritual for 2.5 hours every morning. Those are some of the things that I am being. I'm being that guy. I am being the guy who's the alchemist, lover of people, healer of souls, and multiplier of prosperity. I'm also being a guy who's a coach. Who are you being? I want to know if you're willing to share it with me. So you may already be living a life that's the ultimate life. You may already be living a life that you love every second. Purpose, prosperity, joy, fun, service. If you are, please reach out to me and share that with me. I met one today and I loved it. I loved every second of our conversation. I loved what he was about, and I'm going to connect him with several people that I think are good connections for him. Maybe they'll be clients for him, or maybe there are things where they can help each other. But in the process of my doing this thing, but I'm being the guy that creates 50 million people that I serve this year. That's what I just decided to do. So I'm being that guy. And in the process of being that guy, I met this fellow today. I met someone yesterday that was fantastic and interesting also for a completely different reason. And I'm going to have the chance to connect with him. And I connected him with a couple of other doctors that I know because of who he was being. And so the choice that we make either on purpose or accidentally about who we're being is the entire piece of life. So if you want more fun, if you want more joy, if you want more money, if you want more prosperity, if you want more peace, if you want to be free like this crazy looking eagle behind here, right? Then the question is, who do you have to be to create that? And I ask myself that all the time. Who do I have to be to create 50 million people that I can help? Well, I don't know the full answer to that, but I know I'm doing it. I know I'm underway. I know it's working because of who I'm meeting. I know it's working because of the television program I'm creating. I know it's working because of the podcast guests that I get. I know it's working because of the comments I get on these videos. So I know that the person that I'm being is creating the road to 50 million. And so I invite you to consider, as if you're in the U.S., then yesterday was Thanksgiving and today's the day after Black Friday, and we're moving into December pretty quickly, and it'll be holiday stuff for a month. So I invite you to consider who you're being in this holiday month? Who are you going to be in December? Who are you being right now? Are you going to be a person who gives a lot? Are you going to be a person who celebrates the holidays? Are you being truth? Are you being honesty? Are you being a kind source of energy? Who are you being? That's a choice we get to make, and we abdicate it so much. And I had an extraordinary experience this morning in meditation that connected me to this sense of being in a powerful way, a more powerful way, or a new way, a new layer, however you want to describe it, right? And so I invite you to join me. If there's a way you can help me reach 50 million people, what do I mean reach 50 million? I mean help one person at a time. Right now I'm talking to you. How can I help you discover your divine gifts? I'd like to know, how can I help you serve with your divine gifts? How can I help you love yourself more? I ask myself that. How can I be the person who loves more? How can I be love in a larger way? How can I be service in a larger way? How can I be encouragement? How can I be forgiveness more? How can I be those things? And then when I ask myself those questions, the answers are easy. Well, then go here, say this, do that. And it comes instantly. It's not like, ooh, I have to sit and contemplate that. If I say, well, how can I be more loving? The answers are obvious and clear all around me. There's people around me. I talk to people, people in the house I'm in, people I meet online, videos that I make for you. I invite you to help me reach people to discover their gifts and serve. I invite you to spread joy. I invite you to be the person who loves themselves. I invite you to love yourself more deeply, because I believe that loving yourself does honor to the Creator. The Creator gave us these bodies, and we will do a great deal of honor if we just love them, take care of them, or our hearts, or our spirit, or our energy. And if we live in service and love, we will be happier and more productive than we can imagine. And I'm living proof of that. I've gone from something completely different 15 years ago when I changed my life to a totally different person. And I live in fabulous joy, excitement, purpose, prosperity, and joy every minute of every day. So exciting that I can hardly stand it. So my invitation to you is to help me reach people, help me to help you and others to discover their gifts, to serve with them, to live happy today instead of I'll be happy when, to not blame external circumstances, but just treat things like they are what they are. And that's okay. And I get to decide how I'm going to interact with that. I get to live in joy every day, all day long. Why? Just because I said so. And I invite you to participate with me. If you want to help me reach my goal of all these folks, please reach out and help me. Maybe I can help you. I don't know. But what I know is my decision, my choice each morning to be the person who's committed to this road to 50 million, that makes a difference all day long in how I act. So my question for you is, who do you commit to be every morning? Do you think about it? Do you get up and just go into the day? Or do you say, I'm going to be the most loving person I can today? Or I'm going to be the richest person, whatever it is. Do you do it on purpose? Do you create yourself? If you don't, you're giving away your power to be rich, to be happy, to be full of joy, to be of service. You're giving it away because you're not choosing who you're being. Your right as a divine being is to choose your creation every day. And I love it. And now that I've learned it, I wouldn't give that up for anything. So love to you. I invite you to join me this day and every day on the road to 50 million.